Biblical deep dive with trouble in it. Well, every Sunday morning the plate comes around and you feel it. The guilt, the pressure, the little voice in your head doing math. And then pastor says, you must give 10%. The Bible commands it. If you don't, you are robbing God. But hold on, is that what the Bible actually says? Or is someone cherry picking? Let's find out. Well, way back, like really far back, Genesis 14. Abraham has won a war. 4 kings, he beat all 4. On the way back, he meets a mysterious priest king. His name was Melchizedek. Abraham gives him a tenth of everything. And that's the whole verse. Well, notice it was all voluntary, one time, no law yet, no command from God. Abraham did it just out of gratitude. Now, in Genesis 28, Jacob is running for his life, and then God gives him a dream that he makes a vow, and it was still a voluntary, still no law, a promise, not a rule. Now, 2 mentions of tithing, both before the law existed, both spontaneous, both personal. Now, then comes Moses, and on Mount Sinai, 613 commandments, out of which tithing becomes official. And what exactly is tithing? We have to know that. So there are 3 types. The Levitical type, wherein 10% of crops and livestock given to the Levite priests because they had no land, no income, no salary. So this was like basically their paycheck. You can see that. Well, type 2 was the festival type, wherein you bring your produce to Jerusalem and eat it there as celebration. Yes, God literally told them to do party. When type 3 was the poor tithe, wherein every 3rd year you set aside for widows, orphans and foreigners. Now total was not 10%, it was more like 23%, and every 3rd year, and none of it was money. It was all grain, fruit, animals, agricultural produce, and it was like a system designed for the nation of Israel. Okay, now here comes, what about Malachi 3:8? Thus the pastor says, the most preached tithe verse of all time. Well, that is terrifying because you are ignoring the context here, and context matters. So let's go back to Malachi 1 verse 1, wherein it was clearly told, and it is clearly written that it is for the priests, the Levites, because they were coming up with offering that was not good. Like, so this is animal or crippled animals as sacrifice. And now Jesus comes in picture, he fulfills the law. And he has not come to abolish it or to end it, but the old covenant is fulfilled in Jesus, and the new covenant begins from Jesus. That's right, Jesus did command tithing, is it? No. But he mentioned it 2 times to describe Pharisees doing it wrong, but never once he commanded. Never. Now you see, Paul wrote 13 letters to the early churches, and in all his letters he mentions so many topics, but nowhere about tithing. It is 0. Not once, not even any time. In all these 13 letters, he covered most of the church life, almost every letter. But here, nothing of tithing. But we have to give, and that should be generously. And you can give it as much as you want, because you love God, because you want to, not because you are afraid of anything. Decide in your heart what you want to do, not reluctantly, not under compulsion, but cheerful. Yes, and Abraham tithed before the law. That's what the Bible will counterfeit. So now you can also say Abraham also circumcised himself and offered animal sacrifices. We don't mandate those things, do we? But then again, pastors or leaders will come saying Matthew 23:23. Yes, speaking to Jews under the law before the cross, he also told people to offer temple sacrifices. So be consistent in what you do, and know that when compulsory tithing of 10% is preached, you are being placed back under law. So, giving from fear is not worship. God is not a debt collector, He's our Father. He loves a cheerful giver. He loves you. And you have the freedom to choose how much you want to give, whether you want to give something to someone or what. Now you are having the freedom, and the New Testament calls you to give cheerfully, generously, joyfully, because you love God, because you are not afraid of Him. That's the reason you can give, and that's the whole topic, the tithe.